The Falling Man. Flight 175 crashed into the building. With his heart pounding from adrenaline, he couldn't comprehend what had just occurred. He rushed to the elevators, but they weren't working. He tried the stairs, but they were destroyed. In that moment, he realized there was no escape. He was trapped. Minutes passed before smoke began to creep into the room, filling the air and making it harder to breathe. Each breath burned his throat. Instinctively, he rushed to the window. Convinced that help would soon arrive, he called his family and told them everything would be all right. Down on the street, smoke and ash swirled through the air as a photographer raised his camera to capture the burning towers, unaware of the lone figure framed in a window high above. Moments later, the photographer was shocked to see a man diving headfirst from the building toward the ground below. To this day, the man in the photograph has never been identified, nor is it known what his role was in the World Trade Center. I can't imagine what he felt. The sudden drop, believing everything was fine one moment, and the next falling 90 floors to the ground. Okay, let's roll. Todd Beamer was a passenger on Flight 93. His job required him to travel often, and on the morning of September 11, he boarded a flight from Newark to San Francisco to meet with some representatives. As the plane flew over eastern Ohio, the pilot radioed Cleveland controllers after receiving an alert on his cockpit computer that warned, "Beware of cockpit intrusion." Then it happened. The plane was hijacked. Two of the attackers were holding knives, and one claimed to have a bomb. The hijackers took control of the cockpit and turned the plane toward Washington, D.C. Several passengers began calling their loved ones, only to learn that 3 other planes had already crashed, 2 into the Twin Towers and 1 into the Pentagon. Realizing that their time was running out and that the hijackers intended to crash the plane, Beamer decided to act. He and several other passengers formed a plan to fight back. As time grew short, Beamer said the famous words, "Are you ready? Okay, let's roll." After the plane's voice recorder was recovered, it revealed pounding and crashing sounds against the cockpit door, along with shouts and screams. Although the passengers were unable to regain control of the plane, they managed to stop the hijackers from reaching their suspected target, the White House. All passengers, including the hijackers, died in the crash. As I edit this video, I can't help but see how brave he was. I could never imagine myself in his place. He saved so many lives, and his name still lives on among those who were lost that day. The Fearless Firefighter. On the morning of the 9/11 attacks, Chief Peter Gansey was supposed to go to court for jury duty. His best friend and assistant, Steve Mosiello, was going to drive him there. But when American Airlines Flight 11 struck the North Tower at 8:46 a.m., Gansey, Mosiello, and Chief of Operations Danny Nigro immediately rushed from their Brooklyn command post to the World Trade Center. They arrived in less than 10 minutes and set up a command post near the North Tower. From there, they witnessed United Airlines Flight 175 crash into the South Tower at 9:03 a.m. According to reports, Gansey and others were in the basement of the South Tower when it collapsed at 9:59 a.m. They managed to dig themselves out of the debris. Gansey then ordered his team to move the command post to a safer location and sent Mosiello to get backup, but Gansey himself returned to the towers. He was standing in front of the North Tower, directing rescue efforts when it collapsed at 10:28 a.m. Just minutes earlier, he had spoken with Mayor Rudy Giuliani, advising him and others to evacuate the area. Gansey, however, refused to leave, saying, "I'm not leaving my men." He remained at his post with his first Deputy Commissioner, William Feehan, and both were killed when the tower came down. Till this day, the 9/11 attacks still leave me in shock. It's hard to wrap my head around how, in just a few hours, everything changed. The images, the sounds, the silence after. They never really leave you. It wasn't just the buildings that fell. It was lives, stories, and a sense of safety we all lost that morning. Even after all these years, it still feels close. It still hurts. And it reminds me just how fragile life really is.